Michael Knowles and I believe Candace Owens too, if I'm not mistaken, they've been given a community guideline strike for 1 week from YouTube for allegedly violating the platform's hate speech policies. Here's the biggest issue with YouTube is, and all the time, and this is why I'm always scared. I don't know what's ever going to happen. I never, and the biggest thing, I never know what I can and can't say, because if you go and look at the YouTube guidelines around hate speech, and maybe I'll just read them out here on stream so you guys can all see, they are incredibly vague, they are incredibly confusing, and they are enforced incredibly inconsistently. But just to give you guys the details here, check this out. Okay, so Knowles goes on to say, we have to live according to the delusions of these troubled people. Okay. So fundamentally, I guess he's saying if you use the term delusions or troubled to refer to this ideology, to these people, to this movement, that apparently constitutes hate speech because it implies that some groups are mentally inferior. Okay. And that constitutes hate speech. So it's very interesting then. So if you were to say the same thing about schizophrenia, if you say, you know, we need to help, so let's plug that in, right? We have to live according to the delusions of these troubled people. If you said that same exact thing saying we should not live according to the delusions of schizophrenic people, technically, I guess, according to YouTube, that would be considering, hey, these people are mentally inferior and that constitutes hate speech. See the problem with these guidelines? But we go on here. Knowles featured another clip with a young woman crying after receiving a card that her grandmother, so that whole video, remember that video? And then he said, this is how you respond to any loved one, any family member, any friend who tells you that he or she is now transgender. The Daily Wire host revealed that YouTube claimed his response to the video suggesting a loved one may have psychological problems constituted hate speech. Okay. So if you apparently imply, at least I think, because again, I never know, they don't actually specify these guidelines. And frankly, someone should bring a lawsuit on that alone, on the fact that their guidelines are unclear. I'm surprised there's not been legal action already taken there. But if you suggest that a transgender person may have psychological problems, apparently that constitutes hate speech. So apparently, if you read the DSM, right, the whole thing on, you know, that's the top psychological handbook of that there is. If you read the DSM definition of gender dysphoria, I believe it still is, but at least let's say from 2019 or 2018. If you read the DSM definition of gender dysphoria from 2019, does that constitute hate speech, YouTube? I'm very confused. I don't understand this at all. Okay. And like I said, it's never clear. We never actually know. And it seems very obvious to me that YouTube is just being pressured to do this, or internally and externally, I should say, because What is a Woman is so popular. Daily Wire is getting such good numbers on this content addressing the alphabet stuff, and I'd have to assume that's why it's happening. But then we go on here. The proper use of the English language, which YouTube calls misgendering, apparently constitutes hate speech under the new rules, he said. So apparently, if you quote unquote misgender, that breaks the guidelines. Which furthermore, I'm like, but the guidelines don't actually say that. In fact, let's pull this up here, okay? Let's see. YouTube guidelines on hate speech. Google it right now if you want to go along with me, okay? The YouTube guidelines on hate speech. None of this is said. It doesn't say any of this anywhere. All it says is hate speech is not allowed on YouTube. We remove content promoting violence or hatred against individuals based on the following attributes. And it goes on, you know, age, ethnicity, gender, identity, and expression, all that stuff. So Michael Knowles nowhere here promotes violence. Nor does he promote hatred, right? How does it promote? If you say, as a Christian, which he is, if you say, I love these people, but I think they are troubled, I think they need to seek psychological help, that is not encouraging hatred. That is encouraging help, right? But see, that's all it says. I kid you not. All it says is you cannot promote violence or hatred. It provides like 2 examples that don't apply here. So that's the issue with YouTube. These are the YouTube guidelines. These are the guidelines that all of us creators operate under, which is why sometimes like I never know. And so that's why sometimes I'll just, none of us ever know even when we are and are not breaking these guidelines. It is just ridiculous. It's absolutely all over the place. With that said, What I will say is this, okay? Because I think this now new precedent, if it's going to become the new precedent, because I have no idea, if this is the new precedent from YouTube, then we need to have a little talk here, okay, about the future of this channel and how we're going to do this content. Because even if I don't get taken down, which obviously can happen to anyone, but let's say that doesn't happen. A problem I've been getting very frequently on YouTube, and I never had this before, is all of a sudden, virtually all of the content I'm doing, or at least for a while, and the last few days it's been a little bit better, but for a span of a few weeks, every single little thing I would post immediately would get demonetized. Okay, it would just immediately. And I was going through the reasons why. I was trying to figure this out, and they've actually changed. Now, this is specific. YouTube has changed their monetization guidelines to where, I kid you not, you know, what can monetize and what cannot monetize. It basically straight up says that any political debate around transgenderism will not get monetized on YouTube. You don't believe me? You know, you could try this yourself. Upload a video to YouTube, actually, if you're not monetized. I'll show you guys in the next video. I'm going to do a follow-up video on this. But I kid you not. The new YouTube guideline is that any political debate on transgenderism is not monetizable. So that leaves a creator like me in a very interesting predicament, right? You know, I'm not with a network. I'm not syndicated. We have a few sponsors. We love our sponsors, but there's nothing like super big here. And so if I can't monetize on YouTube, which, you know, I'm running the risk right now, the whole channel gets demonetized and we're totally screwed. What do? Okay. So I will announce this now. It's not entirely ready, but I will announce this now. I'm not leaving YouTube. I'm not going to do that willingly. But I do want to start a platform where we don't have to worry about A, deplatforming, or B, demonetization, right? And so I kind of want to try to create this like income base outside of YouTube. And so that's why I'm announcing today, chat, I will be starting a locals channel. If you don't know what locals is, it's basically like Patreon, but it's owned by Rumble, right? It's the Rumble version of Patreon, or sort of a subscription-based website. And so I'm going to hopefully try to set up a thing on there where, you know, that way we can have this like base income, hopefully, like, you know, subscription based. So if the super, you know, so it has a lot of utilities, right? Because if we get totally demonetized by YouTube, then we still have the locals income. Or if we have, you know, just a bad night of super chats, locals income, right? And so I'm just letting you know right now, we are starting that locals channel. Link is in the description, or you can go to vincedao.locals.com. I believe the subscription thing starts at, sign up to be you can be a member and a supporter. Sign up to be a supporter, starts at $5 a month. These premium tier is at $15. I will be announcing more of the perks and the exclusive stuff of that soon. And it'll also be a place where you can post content that I can't even say on YouTube. So that'll be very good. But just letting you know there, I am going to be building some sort of alternative thing off of YouTube, because even if we stay on this platform, which you never know, but I think for now we're fine. My big issue is everything I do gets demonetized. Right, so that's the issue. So be sure to go support the locals channel. The link in the description. Okay, link is definitely in the description if you want to go support. That's greatly appreciated. But yeah, in conclusion, long story short, this is just deeply concerning for all of us, just content creators in general. I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know if we're going to be able to continue to do what, just not just me, but what conservatives have been doing on YouTube the last few months. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. It's concerning. And like I said, the reason I don't know the answer to that question, I never know what YouTube's guidelines actually are, because I read them to you. All it says is you can't disparage people on the basis of their identity. You can't promote hatred or violence. It's like, okay, I don't do either of those things. I don't advocate for violence. I don't hate these people. But then all this stuff is labels. So what does that mean? Again, you don't know. You never know. You do not have the answer, right? We're about to talk about Andrew Tate in a second. And let me bring this up as an example. So Andrew Tate, as a joke, but as a joke, he said, I'm now a woman, because someone said, I think Nina Turner said, if you identify as a woman, you are a woman. So Andrew Tate tweeted out, okay, I'm a woman. So if I call Andrew Tate a he, okay, that's like, if I call Andrew Tate a he on this platform, is that hate speech? Like, I don't know. You don't know, because YouTube does not actually define what the rules are. So none of us know. It's the entire thing is just, if a YouTube moderator or their higher ups decide we don't like this content, we can use these very vague guidelines to say it fits in the definition and do it. Hey guys, Vince Dao here. Hope you enjoyed that clip from the Vince Dao show. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And be sure to check out the Vince Dao show live every weeknight here on this channel at 8 p.m. Eastern time. It is a great show. Many are saying this.